really hate this lighting. I can't even tell you. I feel like this lighting, I feel like I'm like 100 years older. Every time I look at it, it's like, god damn. But anyways, there's still some stuff I wanted to say. So I'm going to be heading out here in a little bit. And it is, and when I'm at my mom, there's no downloading anything. So even if I record, I won't be able to download. And I've got the same dress on. I love this dress. I just got it at the thrift store. It was like $7 or something like that. And so I washed it and then I put it on yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I love this dress. And I got complimented on it. I really, really like it. And so then I took it off and then I was like, well, I'm gonna drive today. I'm gonna put it back on. It's so comfortable. And so, anyways, there's, well, let me think of what I was gonna, so I'm gonna be at my mom's. I won't be able to download. So I'm gonna download this one. I'm gonna try, because I can't believe how fast things download. It shows me how slow my Wi-Fi is. Because shit downloads really quick here. So I'm gonna try and do this recording, download it, and then I'll be at my mom's a couple days. So there will be no downloads, even if I record, which I'll try, because she still goes and takes naps and stuff too. So I'll try and record during that time, and I'm sure there's no telling. I'm telling you, there's something weird about the energy. There's something, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like two different ones are going, and it's like I'm on one and this other one, and it's like I don't know how. It's very strange. So I'm going to I'm sure there's going to be some interactions there too, like the rapture or whatever, because then yesterday turned into like the day before when I went with my daughter, and you know, she got irritated, you know, that I got irritated over the pricing at the thrift stores. You know, she thought, well, I should just, you know, stuff it away, not say anything, let it go. And I'm all about processing and being real, but then I'm also about, like, I don't want to interfere with someone else's mood, so I want to take responsibility for that. And but whatever, she was just not, she just reached her last nerve with me or something, which, you know, she did good up until then, like, because before she reached her last nerve, if I even walked in a room and she hadn't seen me in a month, I'd be like, oh, can't even stand to see the side of you. So, you know, I easily trigger her, but she triggers me straight back. Like, it's this triggering thing. And we even talked about it yesterday and acknowledged it, because, you know, I recognize that her triggering me helps me build boundaries. It helps me define myself. And she feels like, you know, she came into the family to help people to learn boundaries, because she does push so hard. But, you know, you also have other things you're here to do besides just teach. That's what people got to see. You're not just playing the role of, you know, being the savior in the world. No, you're playing the role like, you know, you're the good guy and the bad guy, no matter if you want to see it or you don't want to see it. You play both roles. And so the whole thing started, and, you know, I talked about this a long while ago, because this is something that, it was like my guides were showing me a lot of things ahead of time. And there's a lot of things I'm still not going to say, because they still have to play out. But it's very curious to watch this play out from what I'm told and what I'm watching and stuff. But so they had told me, it was a while ago, about that she was going to have her attitude towards me and my spirituality. Once it became a popular trend, since she doesn't understand me or mine, then she's going to, like, it's a competition now or something. Who's more spiritual? It's like, there's not really a competition, because this is something I've been living since I was like, since I was 3, if you go all the way back. I mean, once I had the influence of them talking in my head, like, what was I going to do? Go against that? So to me, it's been my path that I came here to live, to learn. It's all been the spiritual thing. It's always been about me having to, you know, leave the church when I was young. And my oldest daughter, though, there's this whole argument yesterday that, you know, that I kind of knew was coming. because it's, I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I knew it was going to come to this thing, like, oh, I'm pretending to be spiritual. I'm not spiritual. I think I'm spiritual. I'm just a big phony. I'm somebody who's lost, who doesn't have any idea who they are. Oh my God, stop it. Watch your attitude. Stop it. Oh, sorry. I really don't like it when she starts scratching someone else's door. Okay, so anyways, I knew it was going to become a thing. I just see it coming. It's like I can hear things that aren't being said, but I can hear them and I know they're coming. Am I creating them because I can hear them, because I know I can see what's coming? I don't know. But I knew it was going to become a thing, and it was big on my mind even when I started this, and especially where they tell me where it's going, and I was like, it's going to be an interference, and I could see it. It showed me, and I was like, oh my gosh, fuck yeah, that is so clear. And so then I'd seen a couple of whispers of it a few times, but yesterday she really just came right out and said, I pretend to be spiritual, like I'm not spiritual, I don't even know what I'm talking about, and all this stuff. Everything I will say, it would be like, I will say something and she'll be like, that's not true, that's not real. I'll be like, yeah, it is. Just because you don't understand it, that doesn't mean it's not real. Like, I've been spiritual a long time. I get I'm another level, and that just threw her. That was the last straw. I think I'm at another level. Like, I'm so uppity on my spiritual thing. It's like, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say the things I know and see, it doesn't mean they're not true because you don't know and see them, because you don't understand them. You just started even thinking in a spiritual thing like a fucking year ago. I mean, before that, you laughed at everything. I thought it was the most ridiculous thing you ever heard. And even still, some of the stuff I say, she thinks it's ridiculous. This spiritual, awakening thing that they're trying to control is just so, it's so superficial. It's so like, be vegan and buy crystals and, I'm not really even sure, because the spiritual path that I know is just different than what is being out there now. But the ones that are out there now, they're so in ego, and to me, it's like, you haven't even been in learner. If you're in learner right now, it's been a very short time, because right now it seems you're just in teacher. You just jump, oh, I'm spiritually awake, now I'm a teacher. It's like, for those of us who have been on this path for most of our lives, it's like, where in the world? And then you're going to come in at me and tell me that I'm wrong about what I believe? It's like, yeah, it's mind-blowing. But, she was coming right out and saying yesterday, like, the things that I knew, and she said, you are not, you don't even know who you are. You took us to church. I was like, what? Like, don't you understand, like, what a spiritual path is? Like, and then my daughter, this one, the older one, and she was like saying something about like, oh my God, you guys, and you're arguing yesterday, that was too much. And she said, I don't know, when she gets in this mood where everything you say, she just jumps back down your throat. But you were arguing like little schoolgirls, and it was annoying. And it's like, I felt like I was just constantly having to defend myself. But, I don't want to be that bickering back and forth. But it's like, gonna keep coming at me at some point, But this is an occurrence that goes all the time. And I know it's from other past lives and stuff. There's just, it's deeper. Like, I feel like, she's a force to really help me learn about me. But it is, one thing is that, if you think like, well, I've got to teach them this, I need to teach them this is my lesson for the day, and you don't know this person's lessons. You don't know what they need to learn. You're coming from arrogance, you're coming from ego. And if you think you understand this person because you have something you perceived. So they said, because I saw this yesterday all the time, is I would say something and then she would take it the way she takes it, because you're the receiver. And it's through your perception, it's through how you perceive, through your lens is how you receive. And so somebody can say something and you think they're saying, how you're receiving. Most people are receiving, that people look down on them. They think they're stupid. Everybody's going through this thing. Like, it's like a deflection kind of process. Like, oh, you're going to say that, and we all get into these kind of like I said, it's just like those back and forth kind of things. And you got to catch them for yourself, and see. And, there was a point where she was like, okay, I'm just going to leave. And then I started playing with the baby and just didn't talk or anything about any of that stuff. But she doesn't realize how much she's always like coming at me over stuff that I would say something. She would take it the way she takes it and then say, that's how I meant it. It's like, no, you take it completely different than how I meant it. It's not at all how I meant what I said. And it just, that becomes the argument. Yes, you don't even know yourself. You mean it exactly how I take it because that's how I took it. And so now you just want to pretend you didn't mean it that way. It's like, no. But, that is where I say you have to be spiritually more advanced. And these people who just jump on board, who don't understand what it means. Like, spirituality isn't like the oldest daughter, she's like, I don't even know what it is. Like, I don't even get it. Like, Jordan, or the other sister, she's never been spiritual. Like, now she's saying she is. Like, I don't even know what spiritual is. But she remembers me always from the time they were little. Take them to this church, because we went to the biker church when we lived in Southern California. And now I've seen about that in the Jesus Revolution. It was a part of the big build up to the mega churches. And let's get them all in here. And then there was, I took them to the Universalist, whatever, the Universalist church for, I don't know, I think we went like 5 weekends or something, 5 times. And, I would try different things, because I kept wanting their spirit to be satisfied. So I was trying different things, like I went to church. Like, I don't know how to make somebody's spirit come on. Like, and my daughter's like, you used to pray with us. It's like, yeah, but do you remember what we prayed? Like, it's like, yeah, that is spirit. Like, you're searching. You're searching for the meaning of life. You're searching for your connection to life. It is a spiritual, like, it's a connection you're yearning for. And it's been a part of my thing the whole time. I mean, it's so weird, like, talking to her or whatever, like, she has no idea of what it took in the time that I was in, where everybody went to church for, for a long ass time. Like, that's what you did. Everything led up to Sunday at church. What are you going to wear? Who are you going to do? Everything was church. And then to go against it as a young person with nobody back. I didn't have a cult that was standing back there, with me going, yeah, she's right. No, I had to stand there on my own and say, no, this is not God to me. I don't know who you worship. This is not God. And, and it's been argument after argument. Like, it'll still be an argument this weekend with my mom over who God is, if that's where it goes. And I don't know for sure what this trip's all about. I feel like it's like my goodbye tour or something. It's like, what in the hell? This is so strange. But there will be the same thing. If I go over there and my mom, turn into an argument over this God thing. But anyways, when I'm, being young and all alone and having to go with what I felt inside and then go against it wasn't one time. It wasn't just me and my mom. And I said, no, I'm not going to church this week. I don't believe that's the real God. It wasn't like that. No, this was like a big thing. And I think a lot of people didn't do it. They just went along with, well, that's what they say. That's what church says. Well, everybody else is doing it. Well, that's what the Bible says. It's like, I was just not like that. Never. Never. And so, and I'm not saying I'm better than somebody. I mean, it was inside of me. I couldn't go against what was inside of me. But it was a lot to go against the whole world, to stand for what was inside of me. And it's just, it's disheartening sometimes to see your kids not even give you any kind of acknowledgement or respect for who you were, and then to keep trying to belittle you down to something. It's like, you don't even know me. Like, I know you. I've known you your whole life. You actually grew inside of me before you even came out. Like, I know you pretty well. Like, I don't know every single thing about you. I don't know everything you've done in your private time. I don't know everything about all this different stuff. But there is a whole part to a parent that the kids don't know anything about. Like, nothing. They don't know about the time that we lived. They don't know about what we went through. Like, it's a completely different generation, a completely different experience. And they don't understand, and especially if you were trying to go against any of the control factors that were coming at us during those times. It took strength. Or we had to stand up and say, no, I don't agree with that. Like, if you were a woman who didn't agree with going to work and leaving your kids, oh my God, you would have been a laughing stock, and there were some. And they were like, the most backward women. What do they want to go back to the dark ages? You just want to be barefoot and pregnant? Like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you get out there and work? Don't you have more to offer this world? I was always like pressure. But any of the women any people in any area of any part of their lives that were ever standing up against the, mega crowd of beliefs, of telling you how to think and who to be and what to do. Any point in time that you ever said, no, I don't agree with that, that is you going with what you believe inside. Not just being like, okay, well, that's what they say, so that's the truth, because we have an internal. Our internal tells us, but they want us to turn the internal off and go with the crowd. And then they get the leaders of the crowd to take us in the direction that that the controllers want to. It's herding us. It's like the sheep herder, the idols, the celebrities, the ones who guide us. They are the looks like the sheepdogs, because they're controlled too. They're just the ones that keep us in line, to keep us, and they sprinkle them all throughout society to make sure that we have to, anybody who goes against the I don't even know what to say, like, but the herding path. Anyone who says, hey, no, we don't want to go that way. That's not the right way. Oh, we've been this way. We don't want to do that. Anybody who does that, it's like, shut them up. Quiet them down. Throw them in jail. Maybe just, whatever it is. Because they know that there's spirits being born all over the place that are here to break those cycles, that are here to stand up and see. Everybody has different parts to play. It's not just one person. We all have different parts to play, to stand up and say, no, I don't like, no. And it says, taking that stand and talking about it and putting that energy out, that's what the change is. That's the big occurrence. That's the big change in the world. And what's also strange is, they went to Seattle the other day. And so I keep thinking, like all these big cities are like the videos I see, it's just crime and trauma and drama and all this crazy stuff going on. And so when they went, there was a baseball game and Taylor Swift concert. So they said it was just like jam-packed. It was so crowded everywhere. And it just really trips me out is like how everything just keeps going. Like, people just were still rushing around. Get over there, get over there. You know, and there's keeps being weird stuff, like weird stuff at all these concerts, people fainting, people having heart attack, like all sorts of weird things where, you know, there's groups of people saying, well, it's the frequency, they're creating these they're causing this to happen on purpose, which, you know, I believe probably for sure, because everything they do is not by accident. Everything is very planned, pre-planned. I mean, they goddamn have planned, you know, they're planning for the kids right now that they're turning into droids. They're planning on what they're going to do with their kids. Like, these people have a plan all the time. They're way 5 steps ahead of us. But that is, you know, this long drawn out process. What we have to see is like, man, they've been out to get us the whole goddamn time. And but there's so many people in denial, you know, haven't even woke up to that part yet. And it's still like, and you say stuff and they're just like, oh my God. But it's like, I gotta say what I see. And, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get comfortable enough to say what we see, even if everybody, you know, looks at us like we're mentally ill. It's like, well, you know, you gotta be strong enough to know you're not mentally ill. Like I've said a million times, like I've been saying for so long. You know, people who have people talking in their heads are not crazy. And people who are told they're crazy because they have people talking in their head, that's the problem. They need to be talking differently to these people and helping them understand. There's lots of people who can hear them talking. It's just that they drive some people crazy because people lose their minds. Because there's a lot of chatter. Like, I'm not shitting you. Like, I think people think like their head's full of noise and stuff, but they are adding into it. Like, I can even notice myself when it will just start spinning out on something. It's like goes into those like repetitive thought processes. It's like, oh my God, let it go, shut up. And I will always talk like that to my own self, like, you know, shut up, let it go, move on, you know, because it is like this. I heard somebody talking about this the other day, and I think they called it, I keep having this title thing that I had used the other day, but anyways, they were talking about like the ego mind, like these different minds, and one of them is talking like from the third person, one's talking from, one is looking at like what you do, one is looking at how you think, one is like these different aspects. And that is what I'm saying is like you have conversations going and you're being shown different things all the time, but you have to go into that area of the mind, and it is where you move past the reactive. This is just a lot of stuff you move past to get into that processing place. It's like, you know, it's like getting a job at a corporation and moving your way up, you know, but then when you get to the, yeah, it is kind of like start at the mail room and move into the cubicles, and then you get yourself in the boardroom. It's the boardroom is where you are having these higher conversations. And so, yeah, it's kind of like the mailroom is like just delivering system, but you don't even know where it's coming from. You're just like, but when you get into the higher mind, when you find yourself at the conference table, in the boardroom, and you are having discussions, you know, and you're looking at things, you're being shown things, you're seeing things. It's deeper minded, higher minded thinking. It's higher minded processing. So it is, you know, but it's working towards that. You know, I mean, it's quite obvious to me that people don't just wake up spiritually and just all of a sudden they're just right there. No, it's a process. It's a development. It's steps you take towards you. It's always going towards yourself. And, you know, and even when people don't see you, you know, it's been a reaction, but it is kind of like something that I've been on guard about, because it's something that they've been saying this whole time, and I've known, like when I talk about doing my recording and stuff, like nobody listens to me, even when I say, oh yeah, I talked about that on my channel today. I've done that so many times. Somebody will be talking about something, I'll be like, oh my God, I just was talking about that on my channel today. It's like, I don't know what they think I talk about. It's like, I mean, I think they're starting to understand I talk about healing and stuff, but they think I'm so strange and out there. And that's another thing, you know, that they don't, like, if you think you're all woke up spiritually, you know what, you still think like aliens are monsters and you need to control, like, all that stuff. Like, no, you got, it's such a long thing to get yourself into realizing the things that I talk about. Like, and it's not about like me saying, well, I'm better than you because I understand this. Like, no, this has been my fucking journey. And part of my journey was to get to the place of my own confidence to be able to speak my truth. That is a part of my path. And, you know, but I knew that it was going to come under attack by people that I cared about, you know, that they would tell me, you know, I'm pretending, I'm faking, and all this stuff. And it's like, this is something I have been learning about for a long ass time. Like, it isn't like I learned this in a week and now I'm way above you because I learned it 40 years ago. No, this is anybody who is just waking up spiritually, that is just waking up. That is just you realizing. That's not the end all. That's the beginning. That's the beginning of a new path. And so any of these people who think like waking up spiritually, that now you're ahead of the game, no, you're just tuning into yourself. You're just starting a new game. It's not like, so when people think like, because I say, yo, well, just because you don't understand what I'm talking about, like, I'm talking about advanced shit, talking about things that are beyond what you can understand, because it takes a while for your mind to open. Like, and I, no matter what, you know, I had the benefit of having these people talking to me my whole fucking life. Like, you know, telling me about the experiment and about what we're doing here and stuff, like. And then when I say that kind of stuff to people, and they think I'm so weird, even while it's coming out. Like, they're all just experimenting on us. We're in this giant motherfucking lab, you know, and I've known that my whole fucking life. And so, but this is the same way I've been treated, you know, forever. It's always been, you know, laugh at me and tell me I'm crazy. But now to get to the point of like, well, no, this is spirit. These people opening and closing the door, now dogs barking. But this is spirituality. Their concept, that's spirituality. It's like, okay, well, I guess all these books and all this stuff I've been reading for all these years and spending time trying to really understand things, communicating with my guides, then I guess that, stop please, that, you know, that's all just because I'm a crazy person. And I don't know, it's like, there's a part of you who wants to be acknowledged for, you know, knowing what you know and the time I've put into it. Like, I mean, how many people are going to put in that much time and read, you know, the whole thing, even back when I was reading self-help books, is the same thing, you know? It is coming from a spiritual thing of like, I want to feel better. I want to understand myself. I want to figure out this life. I want to figure out how to live better. I want to figure out how to feel better. And the whole thing is the road to you. And don't let other people distract you and tell you you're wrong. You shouldn't do it this way or that way. But I knew, you know, it would come under attack, my version of spirituality. And, you know, and even how they take this, you know, where we used to be called New Age people. When we left the church, we were the New Agers. We were just these weird fanatics. And, you know, when I was young, being called that. And then, you know, and that's just grouping you in and lumping you in and then making these caricatures and movies to make fun of you and stuff. But it is, but now we're going through this period of time, like, of discounting us or something, of, you know, I don't know, like, the real spiritual people are vegan, the real spiritual people are this or that or whatever. It's like, you know, they start setting rules and all this. And then to tell me, you know, the stuff I talk about, like, I'm making it up or whatever. It's like, the only thing I can think of to say is, just because you don't understand, like, I'm more advanced. Like, I'm not just starting my spiritual journey. That is one thing that I have said over and over and over. the part of me that has awoken wasn't the spiritual part. That was already awakened, like, my whole time. The part of the me that woke up was understanding we were in the upside down. That's what got me. That's where everything fell into place, because I couldn't understand what was wrong with people. I couldn't understand why everybody was so cut off and controlled and stuff. That was the part that woke me up, because I thought we were all like, that's what would trip me out when I try and talk to people about spiritual stuff, and everybody was like so weird. And then I was laughed at, and then, you know, where people thought aliens weren't real. Like, I thought that was so weird. Aliens aren't real? Like, what in the hell? Where? You think you're the only thing? Like, there's goddamn aliens in the ocean. There's goddamn aliens in the goddamn forest. Like, what are you talking about? There's no aliens. What do you think Bigfoot is? Like, what the fuck? It always tripped me out. And, you know, there's just so much stuff, like, of people not acknowledging ghosts. It's like, where do you understand? Like, you're a spirit? Like, you have a spirit? Like, oh, the other thing too, waking up to that we're not flesh and blood. Like, forever I thought we were flesh and blood. So that has been, you know, a big part of my, which my cut is almost gone. I was trying to see if I can lift my leg up. But you can see, look at that. You can't even see all of this part. And then there's just this tiny little part left. It's just like sealing up, like it was never even there. It's so trippy. But, you know, I just know that the wounds come from in here. The healing, everything that we perceive, everything we see, everything we understand, everything we do, all is in here. It's all in how we see things. And, you know, as a spiritual being, I've wanted to have people see things like how I see things, to make them feel better, to make them feel happier, to make them not be scared. But that's not everybody's journey. That's not everybody's thing, you know. So, you know, and I can't cross over it, but that has been a part of my learning too. Is I've got to just sit back and stand back and just let things play out. I can't just, because I can see things and I can understand things, I can't just tell everybody, you know. And that is, like what I've said, you know, being a seer isn't just easy. You know, there's lessons. Every fucking thing has lessons. Every fucking thing. You know, just like the beautiful girl who gets all of the guys who, you know, she's learning lessons. They're all learning lessons together. Every single group. And I think it's super, super important for people to realize that the people who you interact with, it's all magical. Every single person you meet, every single person you interact with is all put there. Nothing's by accident. Like, people have got to really understand, like, you're not going around living an accidental life. Like, oh, that just happened. Oh, well, if I did this, that wouldn't happen. Well, if I could have done that, that wouldn't happen. It's like, that's not how it works. It's not how it works at all. But, you know, you have to be on that spiritual path. You have to start understanding things. It's steps that get you there, you know. It's steps to get to the place to understand, oh, I'm a hologram, and to be impressed by that. Because a lot of people, just like my daughter, she's like, that's really scary to think I'm not real. But you are real. The part of you that feels real, the part of this thing, this being, this person who's emotionally reactive and talking, and that's real. But this avatar, this illusion, this picture could just melt away. There would still be, my energy would still be sitting here, and my energy would still have color and movement. I would still be here. This person who wears these, who has this hair, who has different amounts of melanin in our blood and different pineal gland, all of that is it's like the plug-in centers to the avatar, so that your soul can plug in, so it can have this experience. So, but the experiences are all about learning and experiencing an adventure. You know, it's about understanding what it is, what it means to be alive. You know, the big question, who and what am I? What am I doing here? And, you know, I feel like, you know, so much is being misled about the spiritual awakening and turning people, you know, just like, you know, get them all in fear, get them all down there, getting baptized because Jesus is a mean guy who's going to, God, you know, if you don't call out Jesus' name, well, you're going to burn in hell forever. So they'll run down there, oh my God, Jesus is real, God's real, I'm so scared. It's like, that's not what it's supposed to be. But that's your lesson. That's your lesson. I can't do anything about it. I can just sit back and apparently, you know, me saying like I'm more advanced. I don't know how else to word it. You know, you guys can tell me in the comments, oh, just say this, just say that. But it's like, I can't discount the things I know. I can't pretend like I just became spiritual last week when everybody else woke up. No, this has been my journey. This has been my interest. This has been what fascinates me. Like, supernatural, the mystic. You know, I'm the Houdini kind of energy. I'm like far fascinated by the supernatural, and you know, that is where I have, you know, like I said yesterday, I've always been 1 foot in and 1 foot out. I've never been fully in here. And I would only be able to say that is because of these people talking in my head my whole life and telling me things and stuff. And then being around people who say that's not real. And it's just like, but it's not real to you because you are caught up in something. Like, you're not paying attention because it is real. It's very real. And you know, it's just, I don't know. I know you guys are along for my process through this of, you know, coming into this understanding of like, who am I? What am I? Like, what in the hell? How do I understand these things where all these people around me don't understand them? And then why am I constantly, I'm the one who is always the weirdo, the outcast, the one who doesn't get it, the one who makes things else like, I can't even tell you. I look so forward to this flipping the other direction. Even when you got all these people just out scurrying around, living their regular lives. It's like, come on. Because I know that's when everybody's going to see. But one thing I wanted to say about that too is because I was getting this, you know, because this has been really weird this week. Where things feel so, I don't know how to explain it. It's very weird. Like, I feel like I'm not in sync. Like, I'm in one energy and another energy or something. It's a very strange phenomena feeling. It's very weird. But I started thinking is, what if the whole thing of is leading up to, you know, where I think like all these people are going to leave or whatever. What if it's leading up to I'm one of the people leaving? What if I'm, oh, I wish this would hurry. I wish this would hurry. And I'm shorting my own time. Ooh, what if I'm shorting anyone's time? You know, like, I wish this would hurry, you know, because there's going to be a mass casualties. You know, we keep having mass casualties. You know, there's going to be a huge amount of people. We're not going to have the same amount of people. I think a lot of them are going to be in some of these other countries because of the energy that, like, everything is going for full circle. And so there's, like, don't just look at it as like winners and losers. Look at it as people here who are going full circle in this energy. Like they're taking something and shifting it. They're turning things. So even if they die, they all have these big roles. There's big things happening on a spiritual level, on the level outside of this three-dimensional picturesque world that we all exist in. It's another level. It's like where they sit there and say Trump's playing 5D chess. It's because it's looking at things from a different level. But, you know, I mean, it could be when the things are going to switch. Maybe it is going to be, you know, the people who are spiritual are going to leave and just head over to the new earth and start working on it, and then the other people who are going to stay here and learn so that they can, you know, have their come to Jesus moment. Like, I seriously, I have no idea. Like, I I definitely don't think it's just going to be like, oh, all the Christians are going to just rapture out, because that makes no sense to me at all. You're here to learn. You're here to learn your own independence. So for you to rapture out, what Jesus is going to have a little meeting with you all and sit down and say, hey, you guys, I know y'all love me a lot, but you gotta work on you. Let's go to the boardroom and come up with some new lives. Like, and sitting at his feet and singing for eternity. Like, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. To me, it's like I've said, it's about something with the low vibration. It's like the vibration's changing, and if the people aren't changing with the vibration, their vibration becomes too low, and they can't maintain comfort. Like right now, and how this thing is going, like it is so uncomfortable to not match the vibration of the reality. And so, I think that these clashes or something of vibration, of understanding, are going to keep occurring. It's a part of this changing. And I think every argument, everything that is said is, planting seeds. What was that? That was something. Maybe it was not something but anyways, it's all, planting seeds so that somebody can see things for themselves. Oh yeah, because we were talking about depression with my daughter this morning. We were talking about like men always being never taught to talk and express and to deal with their stuff. And so we were talking about, like, I was saying, shame and guilt will keep people down. People take so much shame. And my daughter was like, that's exactly what they say in all of the NA and AA. They always tell you it's your shame and your guilt that will get you. And I hear that so much, but that is something that they just kept pointing out to me. Like a lot of times it's kind of like I'll see a scenario, but I'll see the whole thing. It's like there's a constant showing me more. And then it's like when they're showing me, like I said before, it's like sometimes I feel like what is his name? Freud is in there chattering away, telling me things, And there is definitely those energies that are out there communicating with us, because what they learned and what they passed forward, and with their limited knowing, and then they go and they pass over, and then they see. And then I'm telling you, it's a huge thing of why your guides and all are right there. It's like they pass over and then they see. It's like, oh man, and your soul knows. So there's a whole part of, I think, of like, oh man, I can't believe I forgot again. I can't believe I didn't remember that. I can't believe, And then it's like you want to fix things. You want to do things better. You want to help people to understand more. And the hindrances are people's ego. People don't acknowledge, people don't pay attention, they don't believe in the communication that's around them. And then also getting so caught up in their own stuff, not listening, not spending time in communication with this world that's around us. So, it's all a part of, like, I know I've said this stuff, but I don't know, like, if I ever say it the way that I see it, like, but everything is just such it's such an expression of growth of your understanding and your knowing. It's just you are the blossom. You are the thing that is, the watering is your knowledge and understanding. You grow into it. It becomes you. You are that growth, And that's why, you got to keep yourself open. Don't close yourself off. Don't cage yourself in. Don't cage your mind in. All of the cage is all created about control and about you know, it's based on ego, like for you to please others or to feel good or whatever. So, you know, it's all things for you to find independence in your view of yourself and your expansion of your growth of, you know, how you grow into you, you know, and there's no wrong or right way. And it's a big, huge thing. And don't let them limit you on your spirituality. Your spirituality is all about, you know, who and what are you and what are you doing here? Those are your questions. You just ask yourself, get up and ask yourself every day, who are you? What are you doing here? And what are we here to accomplish? What are you trying to learn here? You know, approach life like that, you know, and start really, it's changing the game, you know, stop playing. It's like all these board games. It's like you're playing Candyland, just going around, going back when they tell you, go, you know, take a card, playing life, getting screwed over, take this, you know, getting yourselves in traps by what you buy, it's all these games. But it is like in that, you know, in the real guy, it's once you all of a sudden realize, oh, this is a game, it changes it. You take control of the game once you realize you're in a game. And that is, to me, a huge, big part of the evolution of your spirituality. You know, it is all about evolving in your spirituality. But, you know, if somebody has been practicing longer and, you know, they know a lot of stuff, they've read a lot of books, don't discount that. Like I've said before, when you wake up, you should go into learner. You don't go straight up ass into teacher. You go into learner. You go and try and learn as much as you can. Fill your books. Fill your mind of knowledge of spirit. You know, there's so many different people out there who have, like, I don't even know. I swear, I always say J.R. Tolkien, but I swear to God, that's that Hobbit or something. But there is that one guy who wrote that spiritual book that became like a big old thing where everybody, you know, it helped a lot of people. You know, so you can read those books, but don't just read one and think like, oh, well, his answers are my answers. Read bunches. Read a lot. You know, it's getting all these different perspectives of these different experiences that people have gone through their lifetimes, you know. And, you know, there's a big part of the spirituality is moving out of being life's victim and moving into taking control and empowering yourself, taking responsibility for you, yourself, your relationships. And so, you know, there's right now is just a lot of chaos. There's a lot of weird tension. There's a lot of weird energy, you know, and so, you know, all this purging of information, purging of people's thoughts and stuff. You know, I think my daughter will be fine just not being around me for a while. You know, she probably was overdosed with me because I do trigger her and she does want to play this spiritual role like she's, you know, nothing but, like that's that super spirit thing. Bury your head in the sand, don't deal with anything, and that makes you a good person. No, it makes you somebody who's just stuffing your problems away again. You gotta be real, be honest, but don't be mean, don't be cruel, don't be judgmental, don't be hard on people. Like and then when you make mistakes, don't be hard on yourself. You know, allow yourself to make mistakes. That's what you're fucking here for. You're here to grow, you're here to expand, you're here to learn. So don't be hard on yourself when you got to learn. And so anyways, I'm sure she'll, you know, get over it, but you know, she is in that thing that she's gonna have to come to terms with. You know, she's gonna have to acknowledge that she's triggered by me, and that if you're triggered by somebody, you have some kind of resentment, some kind of thing you're holding on to that isn't what that other person's doing and saying. He's coming from within you. So you have to go sit with you and see, like, why do I keep getting so mad at them? And she's told me before, you know, she's done that, and she just is like, I just don't get it. I don't know why I get so irritated, you know, I don't know. it can go so deep. It can be other lives, you know. I know things like when she was really little, when we divorced her dad, and she was so tiny, and he would just sit there and tell her all the time that I hated her. I was out with men. I was out doing drugs. He just brainwashed her. You know, he didn't care about her. He just needed somebody to sit and whine about, like, his fears. So, and he used his kids, you know, like they were just there for his needs. So, you know, she has honest things when she's a little baby, you know, and I wasn't there to protect her from that. You know, the courts had stepped in and said he got half custody. And he, you know, it didn't matter what I said. He told the courts I was a drug addict, I was a whore. I mean, it was crazy. It was really funny too. One of the points after, you know, these years of this shit, where his lawyer finally was like looking at me and seeing this lady is not a drug addict. She wants her kids. Like, she's nothing what they're saying. It was like he had this total epiphany, and he quit being his lawyer. He didn't keep going after me after that. But, you know, I think in the beginning he believed the stories, you know, but, you know, consistently just go in and keep fighting the battle of the courts. They'll put you through the ringer, you know. Everybody, all these, you know, split and melded families are all getting to experience, like, with the system, you know. Just only daughters, like, it's all these big giant combined families. Like, you really have sister wives, you know. It's all these giant families, but everybody's over everybody else's boundaries and stuff. It's all that stuff is a part of why things have to end. That's why every little thing, because it's all so toxic, and we have to do this, start over. It's like, but it's not gonna, it's like the swing back. It's like, it's take this shit down, and then we have to go back and be like, okay, now we're gonna go this way again, but we're not gonna make these mistakes. We're gonna try this, but we'll make mistakes. That's the part of learning. That's the part of evolving. That's the part of growing, is making the mistakes. So that's this going back and forth. That's the cycles of life. It's, you know, you get these chances to keep going, and it's a spiral. It's a movement. So anyways, don't take it real serious, and don't take it real hard, you know. Like, even when people get emotionally, you know, right now we're going to be emotionally draining one another. We're all seeing things differently. We're all living different kind of things, you know, or having different experiences. But it's important to just really focus on your experience. Like, what is it that you're learning here? What are you growing? What are you mastering? So, and, you know, but don't get upset, you know, when drama occurs. Just let it go and be like, okay, well, you know, for me, it was like, well, I knew that was, you know, I knew that was a hidden thing. I knew that was something that was going to keep coming up, and I knew it was going to, you know, if my account grows and grows, that was going to be a thing where I was going to have to hear, I'm pretending, I'm fake, I'm phony, and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's your perception of me. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not based on reality. I don't even think you really know me, honestly. You know, that's been a hard part of my awakening, is realizing, like, how many people didn't know me, don't see me for who I am. How many people see me through other people's eyes, through other people's vision. And so, but, you know, that's my own thing of learning, my own thing about me, of getting to learn. And the more I try and put myself out there and be real, you know, but I think the energy is going to flip, and it's going to, you know, those of us who are trying to show our real selves and stuff, it's going to be seen. It's, you know, we're not going to have to keep fighting to be seen. It's going to be like, oh, man, that's why I keep saying, I think it's a part of some of these people's awakening, to see, like, the weirdo really wasn't weird. It was my biases, why I believed they were, because I wasn't listening, wasn't seeing. So anyways, we'll see how things play out. But just, you know, even, you know, you go around people and it seems good and everything, and then you can go into any kind of bitter argument. Just walk away from any of the things. You don't have to It's impossible to convince anybody. It's impossible to change anybody. So you got to think, what am I really doing here? And at some point, what's the point of keep standing up for yourself if they can't see it? They keep saying, like, no, I'm not a fake. Yes, you are. It's just like it is like schoolgirls fighting at some point. Just like my daughter said, it's just like this back and forth bullshit. So just, I just recommend just let it go. We'll see how this goes over the next one too. See how it goes. It could be the whole time I'm at my mom's. It is this nonstop. I don't know. I can't change who I am. I'm going to keep seeing things the way I see them. And, there's always a fine line. Like, do you hide yourself? Do you just not say anything? Do you not be honest or true to yourself because you know that it is a trigger to other people? This is all things for us to figure out for ourselves. That's the whole thing. And just keep in mind that the people, even if they're, calling you names and telling you you're stupid, these people are your closest soul people. Like, these people are very close to you. They love you. It's just part of the game. It's part of the role. It's part of what we're playing out here. So don't get too caught up in the fighting and arguing and stuff like that, because then you go to your life review and all of a sudden you're like, damn it, I thought I would remember. And then, it's like, okay, I got to fix this. You either have to pop back into another life, get born into some kind of place where you think you can fix it or turn things around, or you stand on the sidelines hollering out there, oh, do that. Oh, you're doing good. So, but they won't. Like I said, they're not going to just sit there and tell you play by play. Like, you get up in the morning, okay, what's going to happen today? Tell me what I'm going to do. It's not like that. Your guides aren't there for that. Your guides are there for something different. So, don't be hard on your guides because they don't get up and tell you, like, oh, today you're going to be in a car wreck. No. If they told you that, you wouldn't even go out and get in the car. You would sit in your house in the closet and be scared. Like, if I move, something's going to happen. No. And some things have to play out. You have to go through the experience because you came here to learn from the experience. So your guides can't interfere. They can't jump in and say, don't do that. Because then, you set this game up. You set up your path. You'd be really irritated if they were constantly interfering every time you were about to do something to show yourself how powerful you are. And that's what you're doing all the time. Your challenges show you how powerful you are, your resilience, the things you can overcome, how you can grow. And so, anyways, that's what it's all about. So I'm going to try and get this. I'm going to download this, and then I'm going to go. But then if I don't say anything for the next few days, because of that, I will try and do some videos. But anyways, or maybe like when I get back into town, where there'll be like a bunch that'll go on at once. We'll see. Because I'm going to be sitting there for a couple days at my mom's. And, there's not really much to do. Sit outside in the heat and get a suntan, which I'll probably do. Even though somebody told me I look like leather. I don't think I look like leather, but I do have tan skin. I don't think I look like leather. But anyways, but it's all people's perception. Like, you see what you see. Everybody sees what they see. Like, you can't change. You can't get inside somebody's head and have them see things the way you want them to see them. And, part of the journey is for you to accept that, for you to not feel it necessary, because really these people, these controlling people who want us to see things the way they see them, that's very low vibration. A high vibration is to allow everybody their own view of life and to just have an appreciation and to be strong enough in yourself that it's not going to change you, but to be open enough that if you want to change, that you don't restrict yourself from changing. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but I can see it. So hopefully I'm making sense. So anyways, I will talk to you as soon as I can. I'll talk to you later. Bye.